Hey, hunters. Welcome back to the shadows. Tonight's story takes place between Season 1, Episode 12, Faith, and Episode 13, Route 666, right after Dean comes back from the dead, when fear should be gone. But sometimes, the scariest things don't feed on fear. They feed on its end. They were driving down Route 30 when Dean first said it. I feel weird. Sam didn't even look up from his laptop. You mean, besides the usual feeling of being stuffed with bricks and left in a trunk? No. I mean, I'm alive. After dying. And that doesn't feel right. Sam froze. Looked at him. You okay? Yeah, Dean nodded. It's just, if someone told me a preacher with a Bible and a demon in his pocket would bring me back, I'd have punched them in the face. Now, I'm grateful. And that scares me. 2 days later, they heard the news. On a local Illinois radio station. Another child missing in Lakeview. A 9-year-old boy vanished after playing outside. Police say, he may have left with relatives. Residents are concerned, but authorities confirm no connection between cases. Sam turned it off. Third one this month. Same time. Same place. Backyards. Streets. No traces. Like they just disappeared. Maybe they did leave, Dean muttered, one hand on the wheel, the other flipping a cassette to Highway to Hell. This world's full of freaks with vans and candy. But why isn't anyone searching? The town feels like it accepted it. Like weather. Then let's check the forecast, Dean sighed. But if there's a clown with balloons? I turn around and we drive until we hit Canada. Lakeview greeted them with silence. Not dead. But strained. Like the whole town was holding its breath. Shops open. Kids playing. But in their eyes, something erased. Like grief had been muted. Replaced with calm. With quiet. They found a motel, Lakeside Rest, overlooking the lake. Abandoned. A swing set out front, covered in moss. Of course, Dean said. Because creaking swings at 3 a.m. are exactly what says, peaceful sleep. That evening, they stopped at a diner, the Hollow Tree Diner. An old tree grew through the roof. Inside, elderly women, students, young parents. At the next table, a girl. 12. Dark hair. Eyes too serious for her age. You're hunters, she said, not looking up. And you're way too smart for your age, Dean replied. My name is Emily, she said. And you're here about the kids. Sam exchanged a look with Dean. What kids? The ones who aren't here. The ones who vanished. The ones no one looks for. But he takes them. Every autumn. When night comes early. Who? Sam asked. Emily pulled something from her pocket. A red scarf. The kind clowns wear. Torn. One end stained dark. Not paint. Blood. He comes at night, she whispered. In a red scarf. Smiles too wide. Says, don't be afraid. I brought a game. But I am afraid. Because he doesn't blink. Dean took the scarf. Turned it over in his hands. Where'd you find this? By the drain. Where the sewer meets the lake. I heard laughter. Underground. Great, Dean muttered. Just great. Clown. Sewer. Childhood trauma. What's next? A snake made of ribbons. Yes, Emily said. It was hanging from a wire. This morning. Silence fell over the table. Sam broke it first. Why tell us? Because he's watching you, Emily said. You're next. And if you don't stop him, I'll be gone too. She stood. Left. Without looking back. Dean stared at the scarf. Then at Sam. So. I just came back from the dead. And already want to go back. They didn't go back to the motel. Not because they weren't tired. They were exhausted, Dean from surviving death, Sam from watching him do it. But some instincts don't sleep. And right now, theirs screamed, don't turn your back on this town. They started with the school, the last place all three missing kids had been seen. A small brick building, ivy crawling up the walls like veins. Gymnasium windows boarded. Playground empty. Too quiet. Sam found it first. In the girls' bathroom, behind a loose tile near the sink, a drawing. Scratched into the wall. Not graffiti. A ritual. It showed a tall figure in a red scarf, arms too long, fingers ending in hooks. Smiling. Surrounded by floating children. Their eyes blank. Hands reaching toward him. Below, 2 words carved deep. He doesn't hunger. He collects. Great, Dean said. So he's not feeding, he's curating. He takes what no one wants, Sam said quietly. The lonely. The forgotten. He offers them safety. A game. A friend. And when they stop being afraid, he keeps them. That night, they staked out the storm drain near the lake. No rain. No wind. Just silence. And the smell of wet concrete. At 2:17 a.m., laughter. Not loud. Not playful. Like a child trying not to be heard. Coming from underground. Dean pulled out his flashlight. Peered into the opening. Darkness. Then, movement. He climbed down, rungs slick, rusted. Sam followed. Inside, narrow tunnels. Water ankle deep. And on the walls, more drawings. Same figure. Now holding a balloon. Now riding a unicycle made of bones. Then, Dean froze. Ahead, half hidden under debris, was a pile of toys. Stuffed animals. A tricycle. A jack-in-the-box. All stained. All broken. And covered in something dark. Sam knelt. Touched it. Blood, he whispered. Old. But real. Dean swept the light across the tunnel. There, on the far wall, a message painted in handprints. We're playing now. Don't follow. The handwriting was childish. But the prints? Too large. Fingers too long. That's not a kid, Dean said. That's a warning. Suddenly, the laughter stopped. Silence fell heavier than before. Then, something else. A whisper. From every direction. You're not scared enough. They turned. Ran. When they surfaced, back at street level, Dean looked down. His boot had left a print in the mud. But beside it, another. Small. Round. With 6 toes. Back at the motel, they laid everything out. Photos. The scarf. Prints of the drawings. News clippings. This isn't just a spirit, Sam said. It's older. Pre-demon. Pre-ghost. Something that existed before names. Like what? Maybe, a fear-eater. Ancient. Lives on loneliness. Appears as comfort. Takes the ones no one will miss. Dean stared at the image of the children, floating around the figure. And Emily? She's already marked. She saw it. Spoke about it. Now it knows her. And if she's afraid, it'll come for her next. Dean picked up the scarf. Looked at the bloodstain. Then we don't wait. We go down there. And we make sure whatever's down there stops playing. They didn't sleep. Not because the motel was loud. It was too quiet, like the walls had been emptied of sound. Like the building itself was holding its breath. Dean sat on the edge of the bed, cleaning his gun. Not because it needed it. Because movement kept the thoughts at bay. Sam pored over old folklore files, scanned from a university archive, printed on paper that smelled like dust and forgotten things. It's not in any bestiary, Sam said. No demon codex. No ghost lore. But I found something, older. A myth from the Great Lakes tribes. Called him, the Hollow Man. Charming, Dean muttered. What does he do? Steal socks and leave cryptic notes. Worse. He doesn't kill. He collects. Appears to lost children as a friend, a clown, a uncle, a hero. Says, you won't be alone anymore. And when they stop fearing the dark, he takes them into it. Forever. Dean paused. Looked up. So he's not feeding on fear. He's feeding on the end of fear. Exactly. He thrives when a child stops being afraid. That moment of trust, when they say, I'm safe now, that's when he pulls them in. And once taken, they become part of him. Voices in the dark. Hands in the tunnel. Another smile in the shadows. Silence fell. Then. That's why no one searches, Sam said. The town knows, deep down. But grief is unbearable. So they tell themselves, they moved away. They're happy now. Anything to stop the pain. And that lie. It feeds him too. That afternoon, they tracked down Emily. She wasn't at home. Wasn't at school. But her backpack was left behind a shed near the sewer grate. Inside, her notebook. Dean opened it. Page after page of drawings. Him again. In red scarf. Smiling. Always smiling. But in later sketches, her hands were changing. Longer fingers. Claws. And in the margins, written over and over. I don't want to be afraid anymore. I don't want to be afraid anymore. I don't want to be afraid anymore. Last entry. He came last night. He said I wouldn't have to hide. That I'd never be lonely. But I heard other voices. Children. Laughing. Not happy. Hungry. I think, they're inside him. And if I go with him, I'll be inside too. But maybe. It's better than staying here. Sam closed the book. Said nothing. But his jaw was tight. She's going to him, Dean said. Tonight. Then we go first, Sam replied. Before she makes that choice. That night, they returned to the drain. Flashlights on. Salt rounds loaded. Knives within reach. Dean pulled open the rusted cover. Darkness stared back. You really think this is where he lives? No, Sam said. This is just a door. He lives in the silence between heartbeats. In the space under the bed. In every whispered, I'm not scared. Dean looked down. Well, guess what, freak? We're terrified. And we're coming for you anyway. He climbed down. Sam followed. Behind them, the wind carried a whisper through the trees. Bring games. The tunnel wasn't just dark. It was wrong. Not from the smell, wet concrete, rust, decay. But from the silence. No dripping water. No rats. No echoes. Just a low hum, like a child humming under their breath. Coming from everywhere. Dean swept his flashlight ahead. The beam cut through fog that hadn't been there before. Revealed something no sewer should have. A playground. Not broken down. Not abandoned. New. Brightly painted. Swing swaying gently. Slide glistening. And in the center, a merry-go-round, slowly turning. But it wasn't powered. No motor. No hands pushing. It moved on its own. "Okay," Dean whispered. "This is officially not Ohio." Sam stepped forward. Kneeling, he touched the ground. Pavement. Not stone. Like they'd walked into a playground built underground. Then he saw the toys. Scattered around the base of the slide, dolls with eyes scratched out. A teddy bear, half melted. A jack-in-the-box with the lid pried open. Inside, no clown. Just teeth. And blood. Old. Dry. In handprints leading toward a side tunnel. "We're playing now. Don't follow." They followed. The deeper they went, the more the walls changed. No longer brick or concrete. Now, flesh-like, pulsing faintly. Veins running beneath the surface. Painted with childish drawings. Smiling suns. Rainbows. And in the corner of each, small figures with black eyes, holding hands. Then, laughter. Not echoing. Not distant. Right behind them. They spun. Nothing. Only tunnel. Then, again. Closer. Higher. Like a child trying not to be caught. Dean raised his gun. "Show yourself." Silence. Then, a whisper, from the flashlight lens itself. "You're not scared enough." He dropped it. The light rolled, beam flickering upward. On the ceiling, hundreds of small hands, pressed into the wall. All facing down. All watching. Sam backed up. Spoke quietly. "It's not a ghost. It's not even a monster. It's a place. A living space made from fear and loneliness. And we just walked into its mind." Suddenly, light. From deep in the tunnel. Warm. Yellow. Like sunlight. And music. A tinny, looping melody, out of tune. Familiar. "Is that calliope music?" Dean said. "From a carousel," Sam said. "But it shouldn't be possible." They moved toward it. The tunnel opened into a cavern. And there, centered under a cracked dome, was a room. Not sewer. Not ruin. A child's dream. Round. Painted sky blue. Clouds near the ceiling. Stars that glowed. Toys neatly arranged. Books with missing pages. And in the middle, a red bench. And sitting on it, Emily. She didn't look up. Her fingers were twitching, wrapping around themselves like vines. Her shadow stretched too long. Too many limbs. Dean took a step. "Emily." She turned. Her eyes were still human. But her smile, too wide. Too still. "You shouldn't be here," she said. "It's almost time to play." "We're taking you home," Sam said. "I am home," she whispered. "He says I'll never be alone again. That I'll laugh forever. That I'll never have to hide." "And what happens to you?" Dean asked. "What do you become?" She hesitated. Then pointed to the wall. Where a new drawing had appeared, just moments ago. A girl with her face. Holding hands with the figure in the red scarf. Floating above a smiling crowd of children. Below, 2 words. "She stops being afraid." That's how he takes them, Sam realized. Not with force. With relief. With peace. When they finally stop being afraid. They say, yes, without knowing. Emily looked at her hands. One finger split, splitting further. Growing. I'm so tired of being afraid, she whispered. Dean stepped forward. Then don't go. Stay scared. Stay angry. Stay alive. Because fear means you're real. And if you give it up for comfort, you disappear. She looked at him. Something flickered in her eyes. Doubt. Memory. Then, music grew louder. The carousel outside began to spin faster. And from the shadows, movement. A shape rose. Tall. Slender. Wearing a red scarf. Face hidden in darkness. But when it smiled, rows of tiny teeth clicked together. She wants to stay, it whispered. Why do you want her to suffer? Dean raised his salt-loaded shotgun. Because suffering means she's still her. And you? You're just another thing that feeds on kids in the dark. He fired. Salt round hit the figure. And exploded into 1,000 fluttering paper birds. The creature didn't flinch. Just tilted its head. You can't kill loneliness. You can only survive it. The salt did nothing. Not because it missed. But because this thing wasn't made of bone or spirit. It was woven from absence, from every child who ever whispered, I wish I had a friend, into the dark. Dean fired again. Another blast. Another burst of paper birds fluttering to the ground, chirping in broken music box tones. The figure stood still. Smiling. Unharmed. You fight fear with fire, it whispered. But I am not fear. I am its end. Sam stepped forward, voice calm. Then we fight you with truth. He pulled out Emily's notebook. Held it high. You told her she wouldn't be lonely anymore. That she'd never have to hide. But look around. All these children. They're not free. They're trapped. Inside you. Voices in the walls. Hands in the dark. Smiles that don't belong to them. Emily trembled. Looked at the drawings on the wall. One showed a girl, her face, laughing, floating above the others. But beneath the paint, the eyes were wide. Terrified. They're happy now, she whispered. He says so. No, Sam said gently. He shows happiness. But he doesn't feel it. And neither will you. You'll forget your name. Forget your mother's voice. Forget what it felt like to be scared, because that meant you were alive. The creature moved. Slowly. Closer. Its red scarf fluttered, though there was no wind. She is tired, it said. She wants peace. Why do you want her to suffer? Because suffering means she's real, Dean snapped. And if you save her by turning her into another whisper in your gallery of lost kids, then you're not a savior. You're a grave with good lighting. Suddenly, Emily gasped. Her fingers curled backward. Skin stretched. One hand split, two long, jointless fingers reaching toward the creature. She looked at Sam. At Dean. Eyes wide. I don't want to go. Then fight, Sam said. Say it. Say, I'm afraid. Because fear means you're still you. Tears spilled down her cheeks. She clutched her arms. Shook. I'm afraid. I'm afraid of being alone. Of being forgotten. Of vanishing without anyone knowing. The creature shrieked, a sound like 1,000 children screaming underwater. Its form flickered. The room dimmed. Keep going. Dean shouted. I'm afraid of him. Emily cried. I'm afraid of the dark. I'm afraid of growing up and no one caring. I'm afraid. I'm afraid. I'm afraid. A crack split the air. The painted sky cracked. Stars blinked out. Toys shattered. The carousel screeched to a halt. The creature staggered. Backed away. No. She was safe. No, Sam said. She was alive. And that's more than you'll ever be. With a wail, the figure collapsed inward, like a puppet with cut strings. The red scarf fell to the floor. Dissolved into ash. Silence. Then, light. Real light. From the tunnel behind them. They carried Emily out. Not transformed. Not whole. But hers. She shivered. Wept. But held on. When they reached the surface, dawn broke. Gray. Cold. Beautiful. 2 days later, they passed a sign. Route 666 to 40 miles. On the radio, news alert. Gruesome murders reported along Route 666. Victims found decapitated. Authorities suspect a cult. Locals call it the Highway of the Damned. Dean reached over. Turned it off. Looked at Sam. Sounds familiar. Sam exhaled. Opened his laptop. Pulled up the case file. Yeah. But this one's different. Sure it is. Just like every other, normal, highway killing spree. Dean cranked up, Highway to Hell. Smiled. Then let's go see what kind of monster thinks it owns the road. Sam shook his head. But he was already smiling. The Impala roared forward. Into the open road. Into the next dark. Into the hunt. And deep beneath a quiet town in Illinois. A red scarf burned slowly in the dirt. Waiting. For the next child who stopped being afraid.